Let's be real for a second. You've probably asked yourself, or maybe even debated with your friends about this question. Do women actually enjoy kinky or even perverse love? It's one of those topics people whisper about but rarely find an honest answer to. Some men believe women secretly crave it. Others think women only pretend to like it because of what they see in movies, books, or social media. The truth is much more layered, and today, we're going to unpack it through a Stoic lens. Because at the heart of it, this isn't just about intimacy. It's about presence, respect, and the meaning behind connection. The real question is not simply do women like it, but rather what does intimacy represent to her mind, her heart, and her soul? And what does it mean for yours? Let's start with the first truth: curiosity versus core values. Women, just like men, are naturally curious about intensity, variety, and new experiences. Curiosity is part of human nature. It drives exploration. But curiosity is not the same as foundation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If a woman only seeks thrill after thrill, she may find herself empty, needing bigger shocks each time to feel alive." That's not sustainable. So yes, some women may be open to adventurous expressions in love. But here's the Stoic truth. What lasts isn't the shock value, it's the alignment of values. Imagine building a relationship only on lustful intensity. It burns bright, but like a candle lit at both ends, it collapses quickly. What women truly crave is not endless novelty, it's presence. It's emotional safety paired with strength. And that presence can show up in many ways, from tender intimacy to adventurous play. Now let's move to the psychology of desire. Desire thrives in the balance between comfort and challenge. If things are too predictable, attraction fades. If things are too chaotic, safety disappears. Women in both a biological and emotional level want stability and stimulation. That's why they sometimes seem conflicted. They may want the dependable man who provides safety, while also craving the man who awakens her wild instinctual side. But here's where men get it wrong. Being kinky or adventurous doesn't mean acting out every fantasy you've ever read about. It means being unpredictable enough to spark her emotions, while staying grounded in discipline and control. Seneca warned, "The greatest bondage is the bondage of passion. If you let lust control you, you lose your power. If you guide it with discipline, you create space for attraction to flourish." Think about it like driving a car. Too slow, and the ride is boring. Too reckless, and the car crashes. What she desires is a driver who knows when to press the gas and when to pull back. She doesn't want chaos, she wants mastery. So, do women like kinky love? The answer so far is this: some may, but not in the way many men imagine. It's less about physical extremes and more about the psychological dance between stability and mystery. And if you understand that balance, you'll begin to see why so many men sabotage themselves, chasing intensity instead of embodying strength. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how fantasy and reality collide, and why the Stoic perspective can save men from losing themselves in the pursuit of pleasure. Stay with me. Here's the thing: fantasy and reality don't always match. In the age of constant exposure, women are bombarded with movies, novels, and social media that romanticize extreme passion and wild intimacy. These images stir emotions, but Stoicism teaches us not to confuse appearances with essence. Epictetus reminded us, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A fantasy can spark curiosity, but when acted out without wisdom, it often creates regret, shame, or distance. Some women may say they like the idea of something bold or forbidden, but in practice, they are drawn to the man who knows when to push forward, when to pause, and when to lead her back into safety. That's the difference between reckless indulgence and intentional presence. Discipline makes intimacy powerful. A man who is lost in his own lust is not leading, he's being led. A man who controls his desires becomes magnetic because he shows mastery over himself, not enslavement to impulse. Think of it like fire. A small flame warms the room. A fire pit brings people together, but an uncontrolled blaze destroys everything in its path. The same act that excites her in one context could frighten her in another. The difference isn't the act itself, it's the man who guides it. Mastery turns chaos into connection. This brings us to masculine energy. Real masculine energy is both the calm riverbank and the flowing current. If you're only calm, the water becomes stagnant. If you're only current, the river floods and destroys. What women respond to is the balance. When she senses that you're grounded, she feels safe enough to let go. When she senses you're unstable, she retreats. Here's an example. Imagine you're playfully teasing her, maybe with words, maybe with touch. If you're centered, she feels the fun and mystery. If you're desperate or needy, she feels discomfort instead of attraction. The action is the same, but the energy behind it changes everything. This is why so many men fail when they copy techniques without embodying discipline. Attraction isn't about the script, it's about the presence of the actor. Seneca once wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That's the secret. Women aren't truly drawn to chaos. They're drawn to the man who can walk on the edge of chaos without losing balance. That kind of man can be adventurous, even bold, but never careless. He can explore fantasy while staying firmly in control of himself. And that's what makes her respect him more deeply than the act itself ever could. So, the question isn't just whether women like kinky love. The deeper question is, can you handle the responsibility that comes with it? Because the act is never just about the act. It's about the energy, discipline, and respect behind it. That's what separates fleeting attraction from lasting desire. In the next part, we'll uncover the paradox of respect, why it's the ultimate aphrodisiac, and how it allows women to surrender fully without fear. Stay tuned. Here's a truth. Most men overlook pleasure itself isn't the problem. The problem begins when pleasure becomes your master. The Stoics never condemned intimacy. They warned against slavery to it. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Apply that to intimacy. If an act doesn't align with your values, it will never bring lasting fulfillment. Some men chase extreme experiences thinking that's what makes them unforgettable. But here's the irony. What women truly remember isn't the act, it's the man behind it. A man with strength of character. A man who shows restraint and chooses his moments with purpose. That's what makes her respect you long after the passion fades. Because respect fuels desire, while recklessness drains it. Think of it like a song. The notes themselves don't create the beauty. It's the pauses, the rhythm, the way it's played. A master musician can make even a simple melody unforgettable. In the same way, a man who knows how to balance tenderness with intensity, mystery with stability, can make ordinary moments extraordinary. It's not about chasing shock value, it's about creating harmony. Now let's step back and answer the big question. Do women like kinky love? The deeper answer is, this women like depth. Some of that depth may include adventure, playfulness, even extremes. But at the core, what she desires is a man who is unshakable. A man who has discipline, who is present, who knows himself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's the point. She's not drawn to the chaos, you are the attraction when you embody control. So stop worrying about trends, about what other guys brag about whether you're wild enough. Focus instead on becoming the man who doesn't need gimmicks. The man who can stand in silence and still command attention. The man whose calm presence is more powerful than 1,000 performances. Because when you live with mastery, even the simplest touch carries weight. Even the smallest gesture can be unforgettable. And here's the paradox. When you embody respect and discipline, you actually give her the freedom to explore her desires without fear. That's when intimacy stops being dirty and starts becoming sacred. Respect is the true aphrodisiac. It's what allows her to surrender fully, not because she's pressured, but because she feels safe in your strength. So, do women like kinky love? The honest answer is it depends. Some do, some don't. But every woman deep down wants a man who is stable, present, and disciplined. That's the foundation. The details on top are just expressions of that strength. Without the foundation, nothing lasts. With it, everything has meaning. If this video gave you a new perspective, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Stoic Glow, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Because real attraction isn't about tricks, it's about timeless principles. Stay strong, stay calm, and as always, live with virtue.